So we're really looking for a strong leader, like people that can kind of take forth and show up and do the job.
Most pilots don't understand what career opportunities are available in the world of aviation. They're making career decisions based on advice from friends or posts on internet forums, meaning they are taking huge risks with their livelihood without having all the details. This podcast was created to help you understand the aviation industry so you can find your dream job. Let's get ready for Pushback. Here's your host and my dad, Nick Fialka.
Hey pilot, what's up? It's Monday. You made it. We are here for another great interview. And today we are talking to my friends that want to fly in that Mountain West from Minnesota West, in that beautiful, beautiful cold environment, that are interested in the cargo world and the 135 world. Alpine Air flies Beech 1900s, and they do it all over the Midwest. I interviewed Brittney, who is one of the head recruiters over at Alpine Air, and she just gave a lot of really cool information. For those of you that are moving forward on your aviation journey or are considering the things that you could possibly do, and you live out there or you have interest in moving out to that Mountain West region of the United States, go check it out. Their website's in the show notes. You can see a good map of where all they fly. You can see their Beech 1900s and the 1900C. You can also check out their Instagram page, which has tons of beautiful photos on there. I love it. Brittney was really kind and really generous to sit down. I hope you enjoy this episode. And before you go, I'd love to ask you to be awesome today, because you are important to me. Keep putting your foot forward every single day and make today better than it was yesterday. All right, let's get to this interview. And last but not least, let's have a quick word from our sponsors, because without them, we wouldn't have this awesome podcast. Hey pilot, it's Nick. I want to tell you about a great friend of the show, Timothy P. Pope. He's a financial planner, and he's completely focused on the professional pilot. He's the kind of guy you want to go to for real talk to help you figure out your financial future. With so many upgrades and so many transitions and so many things going on, you owe it to yourself to give him a call. He'll help you design and execute really smart financial planning strategies, whether it's retirement planning, investment management, military transition, tax planning. He's a great financial planning partner. Timothy P. Pope, CFP, helping professional pilots make the most out of life. Give him a shout. All the information's in the show notes. You should definitely tell him I told you to call. All right, here we are. Welcome, pilot. I am sitting with my friend, Brittney Steier. She is the queen of Alpine Air. She's a recruiter over there and probably the nicest person you could ever meet in the airline industry. Hey, Brittney, how are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am hanging out. It is an awesome day, and I'm so excited to learn about Alpine and all the things that you guys do. So when we were talking pre-show, I was asking you like, hey, are you Alpine Air? Are you Alpine Express? And you rattled off all the different things. But can you explain the organization of your company for the pilot that's listening?
So Alpine Air is mainly cargo. We have a lot of contracts with like UPS, FedEx. We had prior ones with Amazon. So we're moving a lot of smaller boxes into smaller airports from like FedEx and all of them. It's a single pilot operations. And our guys are showing up and they're just moving the cargo. We do a lot of charter, more in like the southern area. We actually are just in the process of buying a hangar or renting a hangar down in Texas to offer kind of a median for the charter world that we are dipping into now. But mostly it is all cargo. It's a Part 135. So,
man, that's awesome. And you guys fly a little multi-engine turboprop, right?
Yeah, so we have the Beechcraft, the 1900s, C and D models. We've got some 99s, and then we have a King Air as well.
That's so exciting. I love the idea, like that single pilot mentality for a person that is knocking out some hours and getting in there. Man, what an opportunity to really learn what it is to be a pilot and how to rely on yourself and all of that. What are you looking for when you are looking for that pilot that's going to fly the cargo or fly your charter? Are they two different organizations, or are they the same organization and you can do both?
No, so it is a little different. A lot of our pilots are hired as captains to do the cargo runs. You're doing like the same run over and over. Or if you want to go into a different area, you can. But a lot of our pilots are trying to figure out the best way to explain this. We've got a couple different bases. Denver, Salt Lake, Billings are kind of like our three Sioux Falls, and trying to think of how to explain this the best way.
Yeah, no. So you guys are in that upper Midwest region, that Mountain West, and with places like Sioux Falls and things like that, are you home based as a pilot? Are you going out and staying at hotels in the overnights? Like, what is that like?
No, for cargo, you are home every night. You do your run. It's kind of a split shift. So in the mornings, it's pretty early. You go in and you're taking that to the outstation. And then at our outstations, we do typically have crew cars, apartments, or houses available for you to kind of hang out at or do as you please. We have some guys that go out and get second jobs while they're waiting, or we had one pilot who just took up like being a handyman and would go and just like fix things and work on things. We have guys that go fishing or skiing or just kind of enjoy your day. And then as long as you're back in time to take the cargo back. And so, yeah, but we do supply the vehicles and place to stay. So during the day.
So you're flying in the morning to a location and then waiting all day to fly back at the end of the day. So are you flying 2 legs a day, or are you flying like multiple legs more than that?
Depends on the location. There's some guys that do multiple legs. There's some that just have that one out and back. Depending on, like, Montana's really hard with like distance, because like Billings to Wolf Point is a long distance. So then you're there all day and then you're coming back. But there's some like down in Salt Lake where you're like, oh, I'm just going Salt Lake to St. George and Cedar City. So it's very like quick.
Got it. I've never hung out in Salt Lake, so I'm sure that's super close. To check my Google map and figure all that. So you guys provide lodging if you're there for an extended period of time. It seems my friends that fly cargo for like FedEx and UPS, they're doing a lot of night flying. Is it the same here, where it's getting packages, receiving them from the cargo carrier and bringing them to some central point where they are then like offloaded and sent off to wherever?
Correct. That's exactly what's happening. So FedEx or USPS, they are bringing in those bigger loads to us. We're putting them into the smaller planes and then taking them into the smaller airports for them.
Okay, that's cool. Do you know about how many pilots you've got on the line right about now?
I think we have about 60 or just over 60.
Okay. And you are currently looking for more pilots?
Yes, we actually just opened hiring. So we closed it during our peak season just because it's like all hands on deck and it's Christmas time. So we've been really busy. But we just opened Denver, Sioux Falls, and Salt Lake, and I believe Billings. So.
Okay. So are you actively searching for pilots? What are the qualifications we're looking for somebody to make it to your organization?
Correct. So currently right now we're looking for captains. So that 13-hour to 1,500-hour total time, 100 night hours, and then 500 cross country.
Okay. Is there a multi-engine qual in there too?
Correct. Yep. Multi-engine for that.
I think that I saw that was 100 hours multi.
It's just those like part 130. Yeah.
That 12 to 1,500 hours, does that person need a restricted ATP?
No.
No. Okay. So it seems like the type of pilot that would be...
We do all of our typing, though, during training. So that typing and check rides are all done through our own training department.
Got it. So are you seeing a lot of people that went through kind of a Part 61 program where they do not have the opportunity to get a restricted ATP and they're pushing towards that 1,500 hour?
Sometimes we get a lot of CFIs and CFIs that come in just trying to build those hours and everything, are looking for getting into places like Delta and whatnot. Alpine is always going to have that option because we have Omni and Atlas. We've got career pathways with them. We're in the process of signing with Amerijet as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was presented to me down at RTAG actually. So I've been working with Matthew and he's been amazing with that. So
he's a good dude.
Yeah. So just being able to offer that as well, because like we realize guys need these turbine time hours and like you said, single pilot operations. So you're going to be flying some of the craziest stuff here, Montana, the Dakotas, and up in the Rocky areas. So
Yeah. So you're an interviewer, you're a recruiter. So what is an interview like when you're sitting down? Is it grilling? Do you have all the lights off and a spotlight in their face? And like,
No. In fact, my recruitment process is a little different for pilots than it is for like mechanics. I do a lot of hands-on with my mechanics. I'm in on those interviews with the supervisors or leads of those stations. Cole Broadus is our chief pilot, and I'm usually just kind of saying like, hey, how about this guy? And he goes and just has that conversation with them, is able to just really sit down and talk to them. So I kind of just bring everybody in, see if it's something that will work. If it's a good fit, then I kind of get that to Cole and say, hey, like, check this guy out.
okay.
He's got kind of a crazy schedule because he also flies. And so being able to pinpoint like when we can sit down for an interview, it's kind of just all on him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. So we met at RTAG, the hiring conference there, and you were just going nuts, like talking to all these pilots and having these conversations. What are you looking for when you're speaking with somebody? What are the things that kind of like check the blocks in your head?
Yeah. Being able to think on your own, wanting to be a part of cargo in general is just a big part of it. A lot of people don't realize like you are flying by yourself. So talking to a lot of people going like, yeah, you're in that plane by yourself. You've got to make those decisions on your own. And then eventually, like we do have a first officer program. So you might have somebody coming in with you and shadowing that time and getting those hours with you as well. So I'm being able to like teach that and be with that person. So we're really looking for a strong leader, like people that can kind of take forth and show up and do the job. And we get it right now. It is negative 26 degrees out with a negative 50 wind chill.
Oh my God.
And these guys are out there working in this. So
I wouldn't be able to get out of bed. I'd be in that bed. I'd be turning on a heated blanket.
yeah. So, I mean, you got to be able to do the job. And I mean, you got to kind of have some thick skin. So
That's awesome. Do you have any idea about what annually or monthly the kind of hours that a person's flying? Are they flying a ton of hours? Are they flying a few hours?
I always want to say it's like 90 hours a month.
90 hours a month. That's quite a few.
Yeah. Between 60 and 90, I think, is what I had talked to our director of operations about. So, and that was a while ago, but don't quote me on it. I believe it's between 60 and 90.
Yeah, absolutely. When it's time to go from the initial screen to the interview and to training and things like that, what is the timeline? How long does it take to, like, do you have a huge backlog and you're trying to months in advance schedule interviews, or is it a relatively quick process?
Can be a little bit of both. For like our first officers that we have currently, we kind of bring those in internally. We do hire some first officers as well. We always say like quality over quantity. So we've hired at 400, 500 hours before just to get those guys into the right seat there. So we do all of our air training at Air Training Support in Centennial. And it's usually a quick turnaround. So like right now, we haven't been using it since October. We are doing a class January 8th, and that one's already full. Yeah. And then last year we were doing training every month, basically.
Cool. So,
so those guys are there a couple weeks. They come in and we do all of like our sit down training. And I actually go in and do their hazmat and TSA. I became fingerprint certified. So I go up the first 2 days and I'm doing all that with them. I just hated that we were spending money and sending people outward to do it. And I was like, man, like I could go get certified and just like actually build rapport with them as well. Like have like some follow through with these people that I'm bringing on as well. And so then I get to go in and I go down to Denver each month and see them. And then like while I'm there, I do their TSA and their hazmat training. So I get a first couple of days with them. So
that's so fun. I love it.
It's nice.
Man. And then it takes a couple months to get type rated in their aircraft.
Yeah, it can be a few weeks. It can be a couple months sometimes. It depends on the individual and timing of like when we've hired them and stuff.
Got it. And then you get on the line and have a known schedule. How does that work?
Correct. Yep. So we have individual runs. Those don't change. So you're hired and you're put on that specific run typically.
Okay. And you know that how far in advance?
During training.
During training, you know what run you're going to do. So you can like plan months in ahead.
Absolutely.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes those runs get dropped and changed, but it's not too often. So right now we're picking up different runs. So we're hiring out for that. So because we just need more people.
So help me understand, in my little segment of the world, you bid a schedule a month prior. You don't know what you're doing until about 15 days out or something like that. So if I'm working at Alpine, I know that I'm doing this run from Salt Lake to wherever and back and forth. Like, that's mine. And I have that.
Yep. And you're home every night. And yeah, unless something really crazy happens with weather and you're not able to, but you're still going to probably take that load somewhere else and then still be home. So,
okay, that's awesome. It makes planning a lifestyle pretty palatable. I think that's an
we have a lot of family people here, a lot of people that are home every night with their families.
That's awesome. I think that's a great draw. And so you do a lot of recruiting, a lot of effort out in the local communities, trying to pull those CFIs, like get them interested in Alpine. Do you have schools and things like that you're targeting?
Correct. So Salt Lake is probably one of our harder places just because the hub there. So we get a lot of overturnage there. So I visit a lot of schools there in Cedar City, Logan, Salt Lake. I'm trying to think of the other ones that I've gone to, but they're my big list. So I spend a lot of time in Utah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if somebody is interested, somebody's listening right now and they've got those hours they're pushing, maybe they're closing in on 500 and they want to be a first officer, and maybe they're trying to get some multi-engine time and they're closing in on that 1,200 hour mark. How do they get in touch with you?
And I tell people, reach out anytime. If you're at 900 hours, reach out then. If you are at 800 or 1,100, reach out. I have my email address, which is bsteier@alpineair.com. Our website, if you go on and apply, every application comes directly over to me. So I always tell people, add a note. If I've already spoke to you, like put a note on there because I can expedite that. It'll flag it, like pay attention.
Put a note on there that you heard the podcast.
Yep, absolutely. Seriously. Like if you saw it on the podcast and you're interested, like just throw it on there. I've got my business cards around, so my phone number's on there. There's lots of ways to get a hold of me. I run our LinkedIn as well. So any media stuff that you see, like our Instagram, which will get started here shortly, and LinkedIn, that is also all me. So
that's awesome. Well, I'll go follow you on Instagram. And what I'll do is we'll put all of those in the show notes so that the pilot can just click the show notes, go right to it. And I know you've got a lot of advertising coming out. You guys just partnered with an organization for branding and things like that. So there's a lot more coming out and a lot of great informational stuff. So we will get that.
We're really excited about that. Rhino Media did a beautiful job capturing kind of what Alpine Air is in general and really targeted towards our pilots. So
awesome. If you could tell the pilot one thing to be successful at Alpine Air, what would it be?
Oh, man. I think you even asked me this earlier on that thing, and I couldn't think of anything on it. I would say just show up, man. Be yourself, come in and build relationships with people because we're going to have your back through it.
That's right. You always need to always build that relationship, because when it's tough and you're single pilot and it's frozen and the aircraft won't start, it's negative 4,000 degrees and 0 degrees Kelvin.
I wonder if our planes are going to start this week, but we haven't had any issues, thankfully. So
good.
But it's cold. It's cold.
It is cold. So you got to put on your britches and make it happen. So Brittney Steier, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for spending time and telling us all about Alpine Air. We will have all that information in the show notes, and I'm super stoked. It's a great organization, and you've been so generous with giving us your time. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It was an absolute treat being here and talking with you.
Hey, before I let you go, I need to mention one thing, because a lot of people are asking me, can you do anything? Can you help me with this? And the answer is yes. At Spitfire Elite, we will make more millionaires this year than Major League Baseball will make in the next 5 years. Our company actually does this. It's called Spitfire Elite Interview Consulting. And you can find us over at spitfireelite.com. Our clients, they call us the easy button for interview prep, because everything you need to crush your interview is there in one spot. Whether it's application review or interview prep, all of it is covered. We've helped thousands of clients who are now flying at their dream jobs because our coaches gave them the one-on-one feedback that they needed to succeed on the biggest day of their life. The best part of Spitfire is our community. All Spitfire clients will get access to our private chats where they can work with each other and they can work with our coaches and get the latest information on all the airlines. If you'd like to make sure that you are 100% ready to go on your big day, there is only one choice. Everything you need is in one place, and I think it's pretty affordable. You'll have to take a look for yourself. Just go over to SpitfireElite.com and check us out. Use the coupon code PODCAST and it'll save you 10%. And by the way, I will see you on the next episode. The statements made on this show are my own opinions and do not reflect, nor are they under any direction from my employer.